in the process. And I mean, Harry, talking about Daniel Farke, we know he could have gone out there today and played football and tried to play football a little bit more, but you thought he was pretty clever in the way he set up today against Newcastle.
Yeah, look, when you look at Newcastle, I think you automatically see speed, you see skill, you see a tempo that a lot of teams can't kind of handle. So, and with Daniel, when he came into it, he must have looked at it and thought, well, we may not be able to cope with it, but what we can do is make it compact, make it tight, and maybe be aggressive in certain areas, and hopefully we can kind of counter-react that. And that's what I saw today. And I'm impressed with that because you look at, if you want to survive in the Premier League, you've got to get something at home. You know, you will look at it and go, when you go away from in the Premier League, you think, OK, if we're lucky enough to get something there, great, but you've got to make sure you're picking up 3 points or 1 point definitely at home. And I think this is a big win for Leeds.
Daniel Farke has definitely learned from his time in the Premier League before, but like Harry says, we spoke about it before, that home form is massively important, and turning Ellen Road into a place that's really difficult for teams to come is so important this season.
Yeah, and I think, you know, just listening to sort of information, you know, how the fans were feeling, just the vibe pre-game, a lot of it was about the expectation today wasn't always reliant on the result, but off the back of last weekend's performance at Arsenal, it was, we need to show that we can actually compete today. We need to turn up and, you know, win those battles, look to be a little more shrewd, you know, play in certain areas. And I think we did see that. And so I actually think it's a really positive result for Leeds. But I think the other thing as well is that's shown to the Leeds fans, no, we're here, we can compete, we can play good football, we can play in the right areas. But against a team like Newcastle, who showed on Monday night against the champions, that intensity, that ability to play against the very top teams, Leeds are like, no, we can handle it. And especially at home, we're going to make sure it's really difficult to play here.
For Newcastle, do you think, obviously, we also spoke about how, you know, they did lack a little bit of intensity compared to playing Liverpool. And do you think it is because of that game and also maybe because they're coming up against a promoted team?
You would hope not. But yeah, look, the effort that they put in on Monday night was huge, and they were unlucky not to get a point out of it. And I don't want to say that they're going through a kind of a bad run, but they haven't won a game for a while yet. So it was also important that they weren't going to lose this game because, again, losing to a newly promoted team would not look good. So again, Eddie Howe probably looked at it and thought, OK, let's make a few adjustments. I do have my players to come on when need be. And that's how he probably looked at the game. But even when he did bring on like Harvey Barnes or Ilanga, I think Ilanga did one thing, but other than that, he was a little bit sloppy. And sometimes it's very hard for especially quick players to be able to make an impact straight away. They like to build themselves up into a game because they're not fully up to speed. So, look, it was disappointing from a Newcastle perspective, but still, it's still a point. And I know we're still saying that Leeds are a newly promoted team, but they are a premiership team down to heart. And going to Ellen Road is a tough place to go. And I think a lot of teams will struggle.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, let's get some post-match reaction from Ellen Road. Here's Newcastle's Fabian Schär.
Fabian, a hard-fought game, 0-0 in the end, about fair?
Yeah, I would say so. I think both teams quite solid defensively, didn't create too many chances. I think, yeah, we played now 2 games away from home, 2 clean sheets, which we can build on. But overall, need to create a bit more to obviously win the games. We want to win the games, but at the end, yeah, we take a point.
There was lots of energy and intensity from Newcastle. How difficult was it to lift yourself after the disappointment of Monday night?
Yeah, I think it's what we spoke before pre-match, because it was difficult on Monday, physically but also mentally. So we knew what's coming as well away from home. So I think from that side we've been really good as a team. We're sticking together and fought over 90 minutes. So I'm proud of that side, and I think that's the right attitude.
How important to get the point into the international break just to steady things down?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, obviously want to win games. We haven't won this season, which is a bit disappointed. But on the other side, we didn't lose 2 games away from home. So something we can build on. But we know we have to improve as well, score more goals, and then come back strong after the international break.
Nick Valdemado was watching from the stands. A new signing, a record signing for Newcastle. How much do you need him, and what will he bring to the team?
Well, hopefully a lot of goals. No, I think obviously we were very glad to have him here, and hopefully he can start training with us soon and then show his qualities. I'm sure he will improve the team a lot, and obviously we need a striker, someone who score goals, and hopefully he can add a lot to the team.
Sean Longstaff took man of the match. How strange was it coming up against him after all his years as a Newcastle player?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably more strange for him than for us, but yeah, special game. I mean, myself, I played 7 years with him. Then I play against him is always special. But yeah, it was obviously during 90 minutes you forget what happens, and then you speak after the game. That's it.
Thanks, Fabian.
Cheers, thank you.
That was Fabian Schär talking about Sean Longstaff. Rachel, and what a performance it was against his former club.
Yeah, and sometimes you just get that sort of feeling when, you know, I think a couple of injuries meant he was definitely going to play today, and sometimes the stars just align like that. I think he'll relish that. You know, I think he made a sensible decision. He knew he wasn't going to be in the starting 11 for Eddie Howe's plans, and he made the decision to move, obviously, and it'll be emotional for him, but you could see he used that emotion well, and I think this was in the first half. He won a lot of tackles like that, where Leeds actually almost baited those first few passes from Newcastle and won the ball back. They couldn't quite find sort of that, and then cutting past next, but he was really a catalyst for that, and I think he is the sort of player for Leeds that I think is a really good addition, because he has the Premier League experience. He's been at a club that's had a lot of success in the last few years. He's played his part. He's been a part of the trophies they've won. And I think tonight was also a little bit about proving to the fans why he's come here and what he can bring, because we touched on it before the game. There's been a little bit of criticism and some scepticism over, is he what we need? He costs a fair amount of money. You know, there's an expectation then when that happens that you're going to actually deliver on the pitch. Tonight he did that.
And Harry, obviously you both have done it. You've played against former clubs, both scored against former clubs as well. Sean Longstaff didn't do that tonight, but would it have been difficult for him to step up against his former club so soon after leaving, or would that not have been something he would have been thinking about?
No, I think he's a professional player. Look, Newcastle would have been close to his heart. Like you said, Fabian's been playing with him for 7 years, so there's a lot of emotional, a lot of connection with the club itself, but he's a professional player. He would have moved on from that now. He would have enjoyed today, and you know, I'm glad that he did pick up man of the match, because even though it wasn't such a fluid game, he did the right things in the right area by winning them balls. And for me, that's what Leeds need. They need experience. And when they get that, you never know. Hopefully he can continue this and maybe push to get into the starting 11.
Welcome back. It finished Leeds 0, Newcastle 0 at Ellen Road, and we can head back there now for some post-match reaction, because Leeds defender Joe Rodon joins us from Ellen Road in the studio. Joe, thank you so much for chatting with us. I mean, just first of all, another point at home. That's 4 points in your first 2 home games. You'll take that, won't you?
Yeah, I feel it was important to show a reaction after last weekend. So yeah, I feel like you know, we're very strong at home, and of course with the fans as well. It's a place we want to make difficult for other teams to come and play, and I thought the boys put a great shift in.
Joe, it's Harry Kuehl here, mate. Well done for today. What was your feeling before the game, especially coming up against Newcastle, especially with their pace, and obviously not knowing that Harvey Barnes and Alanga wasn't starting? What was your reaction to that?
Yeah, we know, you know, they're a very good team, and we don't really want to, you know, we want to set up the way we do every week, and we want to try and press and keep a high line, and of course we're aware of their pace, and yeah, we were kind of, you know, surprised with the lineup and kind of them going to a 5 at the back as well. So no, I thought nothing much really changed. We knew we had to be aware of their threats, and I thought the boys worked really hard, and delighted to come away with a clean sheet.
Joe, it's Rachel Corsie here. Just to echo Harry's words, congratulations. You've played in the Premier League before. How much do you relish being back in it, relish these sorts of games against the teams that are considered the big teams, and what's your own personal ambitions for this season?
Yeah, I think when I came to Leeds United, this was always the plan for me to be in the Premier League and to play against the best teams. And now, of course, coming off a high last season, I'm just very excited and happy to be back, and just really excited and looking forward to the season ahead. And I feel like Leeds are a really big club, and this is what the city and the fans deserve. And no, I thought it's a good start of the first 3 games. We've played some difficult opposition, but every game in this league is tough and going to offer different challenges. But like I said, I'm just on a personal level just so happy to be back, and looking forward for the season ahead.
And Joe, just finally, you mentioned the fans there. The noise that they make at Ellen Road is pretty special. We've seen that in the opening 2 games. How vital are they going to be if you stay up in the Premier League this season?
Yeah, I said to the team before the game, we want to make this again our fortress, and we want to make it as difficult as possible for opposition to come here. And like you saw again today, the fans are second to none, and for me, the best in the country. So as long we want to put positive performances away from home as well, but as long as we keep that momentum and being undefeated from at our home, it's where we want to be. And just looking forward to after the break to come back and hit the ground running again.
Absolutely. Joe, thanks so much for taking the time to speak to us, and well done on the point today.
Cheers. Thank you.
Right, let's get plenty more post-match reaction. Now from Ellen Road, we can hear from Newcastle boss Eddie Howe.
Eddie, it was a hard-fought game. You could see both teams giving it everything. What did you make of it?
Yeah, it was. It was really hard fought. You always know coming here, it's never going to be easy. Always very difficult games, crowd involved in the match. I thought we played well in patches and in phases of the game. Our defensive display was very good, and it has been so far this season. So that's a real positive sign. We look resilient and strong. Our attacking play wasn't quite there today. I think you could see that. We struggled to break them down, although we got into some good positions, I felt, in both halves. But yeah, the end product wasn't quite there.
Your new signing, your new striker, looking on in the stands, Nick Voldemalde. I mean, I know he's going to go off with his country now, but I guess you're very keen to get him integrated as quickly as possible.
Yes, disappointing, isn't it, that we don't get to sort of work with him tomorrow. He'll go off with his country, and rightly so. But we're just really looking forward to the time when we do get to work with him, because I think he's got unique qualities. I think he's got a game that can really help us. Very technically gifted, very creative, and of course he's a big presence in the box. So yeah, excited by what he can do for us.
And I guess his arrival, everyone wants to know, does that bring some closure in the Alexander Isak situation?
No idea. So I'll find out like everybody else will.
Okay. And just finally on the game, probably the best chances for Jacob Murphy. The one in the second half on his left foot was not too far away.
Yeah, it was a long range shot. I thought the best chance, I think it was Willisula in the first half, maybe from a cross. But yeah, not enough to talk about really in that respect, and that's the frustration today.
Okay, thank you. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Eddie Howe frustrated after that game. He's been pretty frustrated this whole summer. It hasn't been great for Newcastle United. The transfer window closes in less than 48 hours' time. The question is, Harry, will Alexander Isak be a Newcastle player by 7 p.m. UK time on Monday?
Wow. I can't believe you
Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot there.
I don't think no one knows the answer except for what's happening between the clubs. Again, I feel sorry for Eddie Howe, because I think he's a fantastic manager. I think he chooses his words carefully. I think he'd be disappointed about today, and I think he's probably be disappointed about the whole saga with Isak as well. And I think he just wants to concentrate on getting Newcastle back to where they belong.
And the fact that they have been bought in Nick Voldemalde, is that maybe a little bit more clearer that maybe Alexander Isak might go now?
I think it could really still go either way, but it's certainly a good thing to get somebody in. It's been a big talking point this summer, and I think everyone will be relieved come 7 p.m. Monday.